Welcome to this week's edition of the Sports Scoop Coaches Show. Joining me is Old Faithful, loosening up his right arm for the big Super Bowl today, Ted Hammond.
You call me YA.
YA.
Andy just called me. You know what YA stands for?
Yeah, I did at one time, but
Yelverton.
yeah, that sounds good.
Yep. Okay. I'm just getting warmed up.
Okay, Teddy, put that ball down and let's get to some serious hoops ball because we got the Bulldogs to talk about.
Yep.
9 out of 10 losses.
Yep, but we're looking at
But you broke the streak.
We broke the streak, and we're looking 2 out of 3 we're looking for, and almost got there. We had Monday, Thursday, Saturday games, and then unfortunately we had the snow days on Tuesday, Wednesday, so we had 1 practice and 3 games. Not conducive to winning ball games,
No.
but we started off with Alden right away, and that was a good game for us. We'd really, the week before we played them over at their place, and they took us to us, and we said we're not letting that happen on our home court, and we did. We scored 71 points, which for us is really good output. We need to do that, and we went full court press against them. Just said they got the big guys, we got the small, quick guys, and we ran them. We ran them, and we ran them out of the gym, and we only scored like 8 points in the last 6 minutes of the game. So you look at it, if we just kept going, we could have put up 90 points. But we slowed it down about the last 8 minutes and said we're not going to be able to do this against Loyola on Thursday night, so we need to run a pattern offense, get good shots. So we slowed it down about last minute. The kids followed directions real well, and unfortunately it didn't work out for the Loyola game. Highlights for that game were we had everybody who played. We had all 10 guys that played scored, and we led. We get 3 double-figure scores, we're pretty good. So we had Josh Janicki led us with 17 that night, and then we had the Sack Cousins, Brandon had 15, and Jeremiah had 14. And that was really good, but we shot exceptionally well for that game. We shot 9 for 16 from 3-point. So anytime we do that, you should win the ball game. And then overall, we shot 52% from the field, so that was good for us. We only shot 9 free throws. We're trying to get the free throw line 20 times a game to at least, supplement some of our when we don't score well, with the good shooting. We just can't get that free throw line. We can't draw fouls, and usually the big guys just stand their arms straight up, and then we have to dish it back out again. So all in all, a great night. We needed that win. I mean, we needed that win. And then Thursday we went to Loyola, and we caught them on a night like Walden caught us. They were hotter than a pistol. They were like 8 for 12 from 3-point, and this little Raytar kid, he's their point guard. He shoots the ugliest 3-point shot, and I'll put it on the air. It is the ugliest 3-point shot you ever see, and he makes 5 out of 6. It looks like he's going to pass it, and you don't know what he's doing, and all of a sudden he launches it, and it goes in. But Loyola came out. They want to prove that they're the top 3 teams in the conference, so they were playing the bottom feeders, and unfortunately we caught them on a night where they just pummeled us. And it's as simple as that. They pummeled us. It was a good game for about 8 minutes. We kind of startled them by going out in man-to-man rather than going out in a traditional zone. And gave them some fits at the beginning. They couldn't solve it. And then we got tired with no practice, and we went from Monday to Thursday's game. All of a sudden, conditioning kind of kicked in a little bit, and we kind of ran out of gas in the first half. They went out to a 13-point lead at halftime, and then we scored 12 points in the second half. Not conducive against a good team like them. So that was a game that ended up 76-35, and it was that type of game. They just dominated us. No excuses there. We only had 1 guy in double figures. That was Josh Janicki again. We just ran out of gas, and we don't have the reserves they have right now. But they're senior dominated, and looking forward to next year when we had our juniors and sophomores on the court, we were pretty competitive. So that might bode well for the future for us. Then Saturday we had to go to Cleveland. Here they take the 1st and 2nd ranked teams, 3rd and 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. In the conference, you play each other. And so we got there for the second game. First game was the Nicollet and Alden. It was quite an affair. And then 7th and 8th were going for. I said we're both tied with Lake Crystal, and so let's go out there and win 7th place in the conference. It's better than 8th. And we were ahead first half. Halftime we were up by 3. They came back, took a 9-point lead with about 7 minutes to go in the game. And I thought, oh boy! And then all of a sudden I stuck in a little sophomore, Andrew Fiesel, and he hits 2 threes. And we're right back in the ball game. All of a sudden, with 2 minutes to go, we're up by 1. And we had 1 guy fall out for us, Andrew Prince, or King, I call him Prince. And we had the lead, and they were in the zone. And I said, we're pulling them out. So we went out to half court, and they came out of their zone, went man-to-man, which I thought would really be, lickety-split. We're gonna take them. Unfortunately, we had a couple of key turnovers and missed a couple of free throws, and they hit all their free throws at the end. And They ended up winning the ball game 52-48, and we went away deflated, and they went away really elated. It was a tough one. I thought we were getting to the point where we could win the close games, and then we just kind of fell back into our old ways at the end. It's like we don't really panic. Nobody really wants to be the go-to guy. Mm-hmm. And until we find somebody that really wants the go-to guy at the end, we're going to struggle in close games like that. So it was a quick week, long week, whatever you want to say, but we did win a game. We got rid of that losing schneid there. Now we got to go next week. We got the last 3 games of the regular season. We go Tuesday night. We're all home games. So we got Triton coming in. Triton's a pretty good team. They took Narissa into overtime, if you saw that. Then on Friday night, we got Parents' Night, Senior Night, and that's going to be with, if we got 3 seniors, we're going to celebrate that night with, and then we got Blooming Prairie. Blooming we can beat, and we just have to go in there with the mindset we can beat them. We're at home. They're not going to come into our court and take home court advantage away from us. And then we end up next week with Maple River. So it's probably one of the best teams in southern end of the state right now. In 2 ways, it is Maple River. And then they got upset by Waterville. Mm-hmm. So anything's possible. You never can tell. But it was a quick week, like I said. Kids are not giving up. We keep talking about, you got to pay your dues before you can collect your dividends. And right now, we paid a lot of dues into it. We need to collect some dividends.
So the Bulldogs 4-17, and Tuesday night Triton will be in town.
Yep. And you know what their nickname is?
Cobras.
Very good.
NRHEG, the Panthers have won 7 of their last 9 games. They're 15-8 for the season. They had just a 1-game week. And WEM, who is on a roll, defeated NRHEG for the 2nd time this year. This one was 71-59. Tuesday, big area border battle, Waseca at New Richland. WEM, Jeff Wagner's crew, 9 straight wins. Here they come at the end of the year. 18-3 overall for Wags and the Bucks, and they knocked off Maple River. And you were right, that was Monday night, Teddy. Yep. Why should I ever doubt you?
I don't know.
Maple River lost to Waterville 65-57, and then the Bucks bounced New Richland 71-59. So 2 of the top 3 teams in the conference, and Waterville won them both.
And they bounced Maple River with Zach Olson sitting on the bench like the last 4 minutes. He
really?
Called out. Yeah, I got that from somebody's. I know these kids with those Ziggies. They're always saying, "Hey, did you see the Maple River score?" And I said, "No." And this is after our game. They're going right away. They want to know how they did up there in Waterville. And they said Olson set, and Dornkemper had 4, and it was something.
Good for them.
Yep.
18-3 Waterville will be at home against Kenyon Wanamingo on Tuesday night.
How many did you say they won in a row?
9 straight.
Okay, and they take a backseat to the girls.
Yes. And Waseca, the Blue Jays have now bounced back, gotten through their little mid-season crisis. They've won 4 of their last 5. They defeated New Ulm 83-59. That gave the Jays their 3rd straight division title in the Big South Conference. And next Friday night, Marshall will come to town. And I understand Marshall has a pair of 6'7" posts and some good guards. Mm-hmm. So the Jays can measure up how they are for the end of the year.
Didn't we beat Marshall to go to state one year on the bank shot by one of the Conway brothers over in Mankato?
Might have been.
Barry Wooler was the coach for Marshall. I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
I'm just checking.
The Blue Jays 15-6 for Todd Dufault's crew. They will play Tuesday, as we mentioned, at NRHEG. That'll be a packed house. Get there early. And then Friday, Marshall will come to Waseca for the overall Big South Conference Championship. Girls action, Teddy, and you and I think and that girls coach are talking about things because they have now lost 6 in a row. Mm-hmm. The Lady Bulldogs are 7-15 for the year. They lost to Maple River 62-47, and they lost to St. Clair 69-34. They're having trouble scoring points as well. I believe they play Monday night again, and that's in their Valley Conference showdown. I think.
Showcase.
And I didn't see who they played yet, but 7-15 for the Lady Dogs. NRHEG 17-6 for the year. They had been on an 8-game winning streak. They've now lost two straight. They had a tough week. They lost to WEM 65-48, and then they lost to Mankato Loyola 68-60. 2 good teams. They fell short in both of them. Monday night they will host Triton. And WEM, Gabe Hauer's crew, won the Gopher Conference Championship with that win over NRHEG. They had also defeated Maple River 52-37 earlier in the week. They've won 14 straight games now, the Lady Bucks, with Gabe. Tuesday, they will travel to Kenyon Wanamingo. What a season they're having.
Winning breeds success, doesn't it?
It does. And the Waseca Lady Jays, as we mentioned many times, very young this year. They're 11-9 overall. They've won just 3 of their last 10 games. The youngsters are getting exposed a little now. They lost to New Ulm on Friday night, 61-40.
Yeah, New Ulm, I remember when they were the doormat there.
New Ulm has been the doormat for a half a dozen years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they've won this many games in those 6 years combined. They are 13-9 now.
Yep.
And they have a nice team.
It's the young programs. You can always
Yep.
see the fruition of your labors there.
Jays will have another tough one this week, just a one-game week, but Thursday they'll be at St. Peter, the conference champion, who defeated Waseca by 10 earlier in the year. Our hockey teams, as we mentioned, the girls' season came to an end. Teddy, they ended up 14-11-1. That's the third most wins in Waseca history in a season.
Helmets off to Kyle.
You bet.
Yep.
We broadcast the section game. They were 6th in the section seeded. They played at Otana, the 3 seed.
Did you see the shots on goal?
I was there.
Oh,
I was counting them.
Oh, my Lord.
50-11. Otana outshot Waseca, and yet the game is 2-2 with about 5 minutes left in the game. Unbelievably, Teddy, I don't know a lot about hockey, but
You're right.
they did not call a penalty the first 2 periods on anybody.
Right.
And at least 5 times, Waseca had girls get leveled. I kid you not. There's no contact, supposedly, in girls.
Yeah, no checking.
They got leveled. Then they call a little ticky-tack penalty in the corner.
About 4 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it looked like the two just got tangled up. They called a penalty on Claire Miller. And Claire Miller's about as calm and easygoing a person as you can find. And she came over to the penalty block and just slammed her stick down in disgust. And Otana scores the power play to win it.
Their leading scorer scores it, yeah.
3-2. And as we mentioned, the shots were 50-11, but hats off to Kyle and those youngsters. Just 2 seniors on the team, and they played nip and tuck with Otana all the way. The goalie, Danny Doms, was absolutely fantastic.
She had to be.
She made 47 saves and just made some unbelievable saves. And, of course, that's what you need in hockey. You get a hot goaltender, you can go a long ways.
And some puck luck. I like that name.
You bet.
Puck luck, baby.
So the Jays complete their season 14-11-1. The boys, they are now 7-15 for the year. They have lost 8 of their last 10, Teddy.
Jeez.
They lost to St. Peter 3-2. Yesterday they made the long trip to Wyndham and brought back a 2-0 victory. So they are 7-15. Monday they have their big rivalry. New Ulm's in town. And Tuesday, Winona comes to town. So
Speaking of Wyndham, did you see in the paper about Glenn Taylor?
no.
He bought this old, it was like a beef plant in Wyndham. He's going to turn it into a pork processing plant, 300 people for jobs and stuff. Glenn Taylor coming off looking like a big guy. Yep. Way to go, Wyndham.
And folks, it's time for gymnastics, and Teddy is ready.
But just the St. Peter score, okay.
We didn't have it last week, but they did beat St. Peter.
Yes, they did. 124-111. I rounded it off.
That-a-way, I
I'm
like
not doing
that
those
better,
1,000
yeah.
point stuff, okay. And they had Hannah Petrie came back with an ankle injury, and she was the story that match. And her sister Samantha, she led them in 3 events, and Shelby Wolf had first in the beam, and they have 1 senior on the team.
Yes.
Michaela Grohl, and she had 8.1 in the vault, 8.4 in the floor, so she went out like a king or a queen there in the court, or the mat, whatever you call it. But that's your gymnastics report brought to you fresh from St. Peter's score, okay?
There you go. They did have a meet against St. James last week, and our technological wizard could not find anything.
Well, he's been over there. The thumb's going like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been slipping a little as of late.
Okay.
So they are 6-5 to the best of our knowledge. They had the Big South Conference meet. I believe it was at Jackson yesterday.
Oh, man.
And how about this? 13 teams there, and of course Jackson's at state every year, and they did win it. But the Jays, I think, who had scored maybe a season high of 127, racked up 137 at the conference meet, finished third out of the 13 teams.
Jeez.
Wow.
You know what I remember about Jackson?
No.
My daughter was in gymnastics, my youngest daughter. We drove all the way down to Jackson. She got on the balance beam for about 30 seconds, and that was it. We went all the way down there for a 30-second episode, and I said, "You're going to basketball." I said, "No offense." I said, "But..."
See, now that's even worse. Manny Beckman always used to make the crack about cross country. He said, "Dumbest sport I've ever seen. You get on a bus, you drive 2 hours, you run for 10 minutes, and come home." You saw 30 seconds.
Oh, Lord Almighty, it was unbelievable.
Time for hoops, honey.
Yeah, where we're going to go eat, you know.
The gymnasts Friday will have their section meet at Mankato. And our wrestling teams, Teddy, the Blue Jays, 11-7 for the year, having a winning season. They defeated St. James on Friday night, 52-13.
Whoa.
Then they had the conference meet, and the Big South Conference does something like you do in the Valley Conference Showcase.
Right.
The top 4 teams wrestle, the middle 4 wrestle, the bottom 4 wrestle. Waseca was in the middle group. They lost to... can't even read my writing. Wyndham.
I was just going to say Wyndham.
Lost to Wyndham 39-30. Then they beat St. James for the second time in 2 days, 53-24. So they finished in third place in the middle section. And as we mentioned, they're 11-7 for the year. They have the section team starting on Thursday. Waseca is in 2AA, and they have not released the pairings yet as to who you wrestle. The Grizzlies, Waterville, Elysian, Morristown / JWP, 7-10 overall. They defeated St. Clair and Blooming Prairie early in the week, and then they went to the Mound Westonka individual tournament, but it's held on a Friday instead of a Saturday. The Grizzlies finished 7th out of 9 teams there.
Okay.
And had no winners, had a pair of seconds, Adam Rentz at 120 and Will Storch at 182 finished second.
No errors?
At the Mound tournament.
Okay.
No. I saw, and I specifically looked that up, and I don't know what happened, but Reed Ayers was 6th in his weight class. So evidently some tough competition. I'm sure there were a number of city teams up there. At the Grizzlies, 7th out of 9 teams.
I was in the locker room when St. Clair came in for the Thursday night meet, and about 5 guys walked in and said, "Where's the rest of the team?" This is it. So holy mackerels! I was just like, raise your hand.
Few forfeits.
Forfeit. Yeah, that was kind of sad.
Yep. NRHEG 8-13 overall. They lost to Medford 42-34. Their only action of the week. Both the Grizzlies and the Panthers will start Section 2A on Thursday.
Isn't that unbelievable?
And they have not released the pairings. They have the teams on Thursday. I think if you win 2, you go to Saturday. And that decides that. And then the following week will be the individuals. So, yeah, it's hard to believe.
Where did the winner go?
Yeah, exactly. Well, moving on to the big scene, Teddy.
All right, second page. Here you go. Page
MSU,
2.
Minnesota State, Mankato. The men's basketball team got their first sweep since way back before Christmas. They defeated Mary 76-71 and defeated Minot State 73-63 over the weekend. We listened to some of that Mary game coming home, and they were behind down the stretch and made a good run at the end. This Pendleton guy has just been on a roll for them. He scored last week 42 and 28, and he had 28 again Friday night. And I didn't see what he had last night, but he's really been putting up some points for the Mavs.
Maybe the Gophers will look at him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
MSU 17-7 overall. Next weekend they'll be at Winona State and at Upper Iowa. The women, they had a split over the weekend. They lost to Mary. They defeated Minot State last night 61-60 when the Mankato East girl, Claire Ziegler, got put back on a missed shot right at the buzzer to give them a win.
She got Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
she's had a good year.
Yeah.
The Lady Mavs are 7-15 overall. They have the same schedule as the men at Winona State, at Upper Iowa next weekend. The hockey team had their big series this weekend with Bowling Green. They came out of it with a split. The Mavs won Friday night 5-1. Bowling Green won last night 3-1. Those two teams had played earlier in the year, Teddy, and both games ended up in ties.
Yep.
So the Mavs still have a 2-point lead for the championship.
Looks like they're the top two teams.
MSU 15, 10, and 5 overall. They will be at Alabama Huntsville next weekend. The Lady...
They got ice down there?
I guess so.
Okay.
The Lady Mavs 3-24-4 for the year, but Johnny Harrington was in the paper and he said he's going to turn this program around. So
well, he gets good goaltending like he's been getting.
Yep.
That's the restart.
They played UMD over the weekend, lost both games 3-2 and 5-2. They will be at Alabama Huntsville as well next weekend. And the wrestling team 8-4 for the year. The Mavs on the mat. They did get trounced by St. Cloud, 30-5.
They had some
Wow.
highlights last night on Channel 12 on that. Now, it looked like they started out with the super heavyweight guy.
Well, maybe they're flopping.
Yeah, I mean,
order
remember
again,
they did that in
Yep.
high school?
Yep.
They tried that. They'll start in the middle of the order or whatever, so it doesn't always come down to
Yep.
heavyweight. Well,
Yep.
right away he got pinned, and then it kind of set the tone for the rest of the night. Wasn't good.
That's a bad loss.
Yeah, yes.
They will be at Northern State and at Southwest State next weekend.
Okay.
The Golden Gusties, the men's basketball team, they had a tough weekend. They lost to St. Thomas and they lost to Concordia, 114-107 in double overtime.
It said it was the first double overtime since like the 1980s or something. I don't know when it was, but
Well, if you're just a fan at that game, you got to love that.
Yes, you do.
The Gusties 9-12 for the year. They will be at. Can't read my writing. St. Olaf.
There you go.
On Wednesday night.
The
women are 15-6, almost reversed of the men. They lost to St. Thomas and defeated Concordia. They will also play St. Olaf, but it'll be in Gustavus on Wednesday. The men's hockey team, they are 5-12-4, Teddy. They lost to St. Mary's, and then last night they defeated St. Mary's 5-2 in the MIAC. They go to one on a Friday and return and play the same team at the other place on Saturday. Kind of neat. They will be a home and away against Bethel next weekend. And the Lady Gusties, they are 8-9-4 for the year. They defeated St. Mary's in overtime the first night and then lost 2-0 the second night. And they will play Bethel in a home and away next weekend.
Bethel.
The Golden Gophers. And this is Teddy's favorite team, the men's Hoopsters. He loves them. All they have done is lost 12 in a row and 15 out of their last 16, Ted.
I can relate.
You can relate.
But
they lost to Northwestern.
We're not there yet.
They lost to Northwestern in their only game of the week, 82-58.
Okay.
Ouch.
Now, wasn't Joey King like one of the leading scorers at the beginning of the season?
Yep. Okay. Now he's on the bench.
And would he have like 6 points in the last 3 games?
Well, he doesn't start anymore.
I know, but he's unbelievable.
Well, like I said, for 2 years now, he would maybe play for MSU.
Maybe, yeah.
Ouch. The Gophers play Michigan on Wednesday night.
Maybe Patino needs to do like his dad did at Louisville, where you get the girls, fly the girls to the players and see how
I don't.
That seems to work.
I don't know why they're all so mad at Rick. I mean, gee.
Joe's the head coach. He doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, he didn't know any of that.
No,
My
It
goodness.
wasn't his fault.
The Lady Gophers, 15-7, 4 straight wins. They lost to Michigan and then bounced back and defeated Rutgers. Carly is averaging 19.3 points a game, but I really don't think she's shooting very well.
But remember last year in the state tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, she put up the points, but she wasn't shooting real well then. But
I saw in the Sunday Trib on page 2 on that left-hand column, they always interview, if you have a few short questions.
Yep.
Miss Stallings is in there today, and I quickly glanced down because I thought one of the questions would be, do you really think you can beat teams when you let them score 90 every night? But there was no talk about the defense, so evidently one of the worst defensive teams in the country.
they really don't have any size.
You want to really know how I feel about it, Teddy?
What's that? Andy, you want to know how he feels about it?
Their defense is just horrendous.
It is.
They just do not try to stop
But if you can
anybody.
outscore them.
Yeah, well, it's tough to outscore people when you give up 90. The Gophers will play this afternoon. It is on the Big Ten network at 2 o'clock against Northwestern. The first time they played, Teddy, 95-92. I rest my case.
Well, how about Illinois men against Rutgers men? Triple overtime.
Yes.
You watch that game?
No.
I tell you what, I can't say I'm in the upper elite of coaches, but there are three things that those coaches, and just academic things they should have done at the end of the ball game, like should have never gone into overtime if Illinois would have fouled and not going to shoot a three-pointer, all kinds of stuff like that.
Coaches have trouble doing that, though,
Lord.
don't they?
Yeah.
They really have trouble.
But it would have been over with.
Yep.
And then the guy hits the three, and it goes in overtime, double overtime, triple overtime, and Illinois finally came out on top.
That's good, because I don't want Rutgers pulling away from us.
No.
The men's hockey Gophers, 14-13 for the year. They had a big series with Penn State. They won 4-1, then yesterday lost 5-3. I believe the Gophers, Michigan, and Penn State are all battling for the Big Ten Conference championship. They're all right there within a game of each other. The Gophers go to Ohio State next weekend. The Lady Gophers, and they got Amanda Kessel back. How about that? What a great story. They are 25-3-1 and not even leading the Big Ten. They defeated North Dakota 3-0, and then last night they tied 0-0 through overtime and lost a shootout. They are 25-3-1, as we mentioned, and they will be at Minnesota Duluth next weekend.
Did you ever find out North Dakota's new nickname?
Yes.
What is it?
The Fighting Hawks.
The Fighting Hawks. Nice job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the Gopher Wrestlers, they are 8-7 for the year. They defeated Northwestern 22-20. And you know, college wrestling, that's the way the scores always are. They're so close. That's why that 30-5 St. Cloud State just stunned me.
That's a thumping.
Yeah. And they play, they wrestle Wisconsin in Madison today, I believe, at noon. And next week they'll be at Illinois.
Okay.
Okay, Teddy, your Minnesota Timberwolves.
Mine.
They tied last year's mark with their 16th win, lost to the Lakers, lost to the Clippers, beat the Bulls last night with a 12-0 run at the end.
And Andrew Wiggins had
How
last
about
six,
that?
baby. Go Wiggins getting peace sign, Mandy. Yeah.
Monday they will have the Pelicans of New Orleans coming to town.
Okay, and now they don't have the Jazz anymore. You might as well have the Pelicans.
The Wild,
Yep.
Here we go. 23-20-9. Lost to the Islanders, lost to the Rangers, lost to St. Louis.
Did you see how many shots they put on goal last night in second
Yes.
period? 25 shots,
Yep.
franchise record, and scored one goal. Unreal.
Coaching talk has started, trades have started talking,
This is last year where Dubnik came in after the All-Star game, and then they went lights out the rest of the season.
Yep.
This year they look like they're going the other way.
It's not happening, yep. Tuesday, Dallas will come to town. And Teddy, I wanted to mention quickly that one game I saw, girls hockey game.
Yep.
The goalie, high school hockey, made 112 saves.
Holy crap.
6 overtimes.
112.
They had 114 shots on goal. She made 112 saves and lost. It was a 6 overtime game up in the cities.
Oh, my God.
And Super Bowl, Teddy, we're just in time for your prediction.
I got a couple.
I don't think the Badgers can win.
No, the Packers can't. Okay.
Packers can't, so let's have it.
Okay, I got two songs.
Okay, but we got to have your prediction.
Finer. No, it's going to be my songs. Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning. Okay, that's one of them, right? Then Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High. John Denver probably roll over.
And all that, Andy, and we still don't know who he's picking.
Who you picking?
I'm picking Rocky Mountain High.
Are ya?
John Denver.
In an upset, huh?
All I can remember is when Elway went doing a helicopter against the Packers, going in the end zone, won the Super Bowl, and Peyton Manning's going to go out doing a helicopter, going in the end zone against Carolina's defense. He's going to ride off in the sunset. That's my prediction.
Well, if they asked me to wager the Ponderosa, I'd have to go with Carolina, but I hope like heck Denver wins.
I think that's
because
right.
I'm not a Cam Newton fan, and it's not because he's black.
Well, okay.
Because that's why people don't like him now, you know.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
That's why they don't like him.
He just got the MVP.
It's not his 4-minute episode at the end of each touchdown. It's because he's black. So I would pick Carolina, but I want Denver, and I want the sheriff to ride out of town.
And I want Gail Rodriguez out there. She got in her front yard. She's got a great big snow mound. She's got the Broncos, a big blazing orange with a helmet on there, and she wants the Broncos. So, Gail, I hope you're right.
I do, too.
Okay.
That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks to Steve and Hudson for producing the show. Thanks to my right-hand man,
Ted Hammond.
Theodore Hammond.
Polar plunge Hammond.
We're still wondering where Joe Hayford is, if he's alive or not.
There was a sighting.
There was a sighting.
There was a
Okay,
sighting.
good.
Okay.
And thanks to you for watching. We'll see you all next week, hopefully.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl.